Ta-da! Welcome to the starting physique. And guys, this is the first time I've done this in a long time on the channel. The first weigh-in. One thing which is kind of cool is I actually have a new scale this time around. For the last few years, I've been using, it's like this older, like the Vanity Planet scale, the one that kind of like estimates your body fat percentage. That one is good, but it's like 6 years old and essentially redundant. I got a new one, because this one's actually kind of cool. It pairs to your phone. So this is the first time I'm doing this, so bear with me. 190.6, estimated 14.2% body fat, which is good. I thought it was at least north of 15. Again, that is an estimation, so take it with a grain of salt, but it is a good measure of progress. Whatever you are now, in the future, if it goes from 14 to 13%, are you actually 13%? We don't know, but you could safely assume that you are 1% lower, the change, as opposed to what you used to be. This is kind of cool because it's like what I used to do, which is annoying. I would like every morning I'd weigh myself, and then because I need to track it in my Excel on my computer, I wouldn't remember it, so I just sit there taking photos. Fun fact for you guys, every photo I have ever featured on this channel of this scale, I'm actually naked in those. That's how I do my weigh-ins. So technically you are seeing the silhouette of my dick. Enjoy.
Oh my god.
Not anymore though, because I have it in my phone. If you guys are interested, they give me a discount code, so I'll leave a link and discount code in the description box below. Either way, guys, this is the starting physique. I am in desperate need of a tan and unfortunately a shave. In the meantime, let's do a little bit more of a legit physique update where hopefully the lighting and the pump and everything is a little better. Alright guys, physique update, let's do this shit. One thing I want to mention right off the bat as we get into this, we are going to be looking at two different physique update footages. There's this one, the one that you're seeing on screen right now, which is aesthetic and the angles and the lighting and all this good stuff, and it looks sexy as hell. And then there's this, which is the much more standardized physique update. No pump, no sodium, no pre-workout carbs, nothing, very flat physique. Although this looks, let's be honest, a lot worse, it's also very good because it's standardized. This is just upstairs in the change room of my condo gym, someplace I have access to 24/7 wherever I need it, so this will make things easier. But anyway, getting back to it, this is my starting physique. Low 190s in terms of body weight, and around, if I had to visually estimate, and I really don't like doing this, 15-ish% body fat, give or take, maybe 16 if I want to be a little bit more on the conservative side. A big benefit this time around, and this is uncharted territory, uncharted waters for me, is that I am way leaner than I have ever been at the start of my competition preps. Just take 2019 for example, when I was a beefy boy, to say the least, at 205 pounds give or take at the start of my cuts. This is a big problem because you have way more weight to lose. Obviously it's going to take more time, and this is it's going to suck. Let's be honest, there's a very large toll that cutting down, consistently being in a rather hard calorie deficit, there's a toll that it takes on you, both physically and psychologically. So the longer you have to do it, the harder it is to keep doing it. So this time around, me being like already down 12, 13, 15 pounds in comparison to where I was last time at the start, it's like I'm already 2 months ahead. I'm hoping that the overall cut will, in addition to being faster, might be a little bit easier. Trust me, I am gonna need every benefit that I can get because again, this here is classic physique, and that is a whole other ballgame. If we actually break down, let's go like pose by pose. I want to talk about like the good and bad, the strengths and the needs improvement, to be more delicate. The good, I would say, is definitely, obviously, my back. This has always been, I guess, genetically a strong point of mine, both in terms of body fat distribution. Like, it's crazy. The front of my body is like 15-16% body fat. My back is like 11% body fat all the time. And then my lower body is, well, pretty much the exact opposite, but we'll get to that in a few minutes. And also just overall, the level of muscularity, the back is one of my better muscle groups, at least in my opinion. The rear deltoids in that back double bicep pose, like the traps, the lats, the erectors, everything overall, even that like sort of, you know, that Christmas tree that you kind of try to go for when you do that pose with your elbows sticking back. Other areas which are not bad in my opinion, you know, kind of strengths would be side poses. I've always liked the way I look in things like the side chest and the side tricep. The chest is an area which genetically I'm not that, pretty much the exact opposite of the back, I'm not that blessed in, unfortunately. I'll talk about that in a second. But these side poses kind of allow me to hide that a little bit. You know, even like my arms, like I don't have the best like front double bicep, which we'll get into in the needs improvement part of the video. But like from this side, they don't look that bad. You can see a little bit more, you know, the vascularity, the peak, the overall size. I mean, my arms are like 17 inches. They're not small by any means, in my opinion, compared to the average natural bodybuilder. But because they're not exactly the most peaked, they don't have the best bicep insertion genetics. When I do poses like the front double bicep, you don't see it as much, which is why I'm a sort of a fan of the side poses, at least for me. Specifically. The vacuum is also kind of a good pose of mine just because I am able to do it. A lot of people out there simply can't because like they can't suck in this much or they can't control their diaphragm sufficiently. But again, I even did a whole video on this which got like 500,000 views or something a few years ago, all about the vacuum, how to do it, how to train for it, how to do these kind of weird abdominal diaphragm like movements and exercises to develop that mind-muscle connection, not just for the pose to look good, but just to do the pose in the first place, because again, a lot of people can't. This is one area that has always looked rather good for me. 2015, I did a competition, and like 1 week out, that might have been one of the, if not at least top 2, the best vacuums that I've ever done. So if I'm able to match that conditioning-wise, it's gonna look damn good because your lats and your ribs don't shrink, but your waist does, and that contour, that shape, that like upper to lower body, or not lower, but like waist ratio, it looks damn good. Like Frank Zane was obviously an incredible example of this. Chris Bumstead also a very good example. So this, I love doing this stuff. And again, this is why I want to do classic physique. Moving on to the needs improvement side, the front double bicep and the front lat spread. They're not necessarily like bad. It's just honestly, probably because I haven't done this in a while. Again, I haven't done a bodybuilding show, a legit bodybuilding show since like 2014. So I'm just kind of awkward with these poses. I need to remind myself how to activate, flare out the lats, make your deltoids stand out a little bit. You know, you got to show your strengths and sort of like hide to a certain extent your weaknesses. You need to show this muscle group without letting the another muscle group kind of like fade into the back. Like even like doing the front double bicep. Are you going to do the classic one with like chest puffed up? Or are you going to do the one that's kind of crunched over, which may not look as overall big, but you get to see some abdominals. All these little things that I have to kind of remind myself because again, it's been a minute since I posed like this after doing men's physique exclusively for like 4-5 years now. And obviously lower body is an area that I'm going to have to work on. Size-wise, I don't think my legs are terrible, despite the fact that I do get a lot of comments from people saying like, where are the legs? Do you even train legs, bro? Chicken legs, all that shit. My calves, yeah, you're right. But my quads are not that bad. I've always had difficulty training them for like years now just due to injuries, whether it be issues with the knees. Just now, for the last 2 to 3 months, I'm dealing with a hip adductor strain. I actually got this in climbing. I was doing this weird movement where I had to use my legs to pretty much pincer this awkward, weird, like hexagonal shape while doing a pretty difficult V7 boulder climb. And after doing it like 15 times, because it was rather difficult, so it took so many attempts, eventually like I strained something in my hip adductor, and even like squats and deadlifts for months now have been sort of a pain in the ass. It is getting better. It's at like 60% recovery, I would say. But again, just shit like that has always kind of unfortunately gotten in the way. But again, size isn't that bad. They're at like 24 inches in circumference, give or take right now. The highest they've ever been, if I remember correctly, was like 24 and a half, 25. They're okay. The only issue is honestly, it's not necessarily the size, it's the definition. It's the fact that my legs look like they're 20% body fat and like 5+% body fat fatter than everything else, particularly my back. So getting them down, getting them to actually have some quad separation maybe even feathered quads, that would be fantastic. A good example of someone who's got like maybe not the biggest legs, but somewhat striated and very lean legs would be like Marine. When he competes, you can see like the vastus lateralis, the vastus medialis, rectus femoris. Like you can see a lot of the different, separation in the various muscles in his legs. The separation between the quads and the hamstrings when you do the side poses, all of that stuff. So if I can have that at least to a certain extent, at least a few percent visually leaner than where I am right now, I would be happy. Because if I get on stage with these like 20% body fat, like sausage legs, then yeah, that's definitely going to knock me down a few placings, to say the least. Okay, more important things. Just kidding, that's nothing more important than that. Now, we're about a week into this. Right now is April 7th. I want to give you a little bit of a weight update, but most importantly, I want to point something out which I talk about all the time, and lo and behold, today it actually really applies. So, if we actually look at my weights over week 1, it actually doesn't start on April 1st. I like to start my cuts on Monday, and April 1st was like a Thursday or something. So, we're actually going to start on week 1. The cut day 1 was actually March 28th. As we saw at the beginning of this video, on April 1st, I was 190.6 pounds. This, right off the bat, I didn't say it in that scene, but at the back of my head, I'm like, uh-oh, this is a problem. This is going to be a little weird. And the reason behind that is because that was actually very low compared to where I was the rest of week 1. As you can see, on these 2 days, for some reason, I was way lighter than I was for the rest of the week. Now, again, this could be due to numerous factors. Water intake, sodium, what time was your dinner the night before? Maybe this morning, to be blunt, I just took a big dump and I weigh a lot lighter than the rest of the week. But the good thing about this is because if I actually do the average, and again, guys, this is how I work. The average for my week 1 weigh-in was 190, that's a 2, 92.0 pounds on the dot. Let's say week 2, we jump ahead, April 4th, 5th, 6th, whatever. I weighed, 191 pounds. Well, if I look at the week prior, oh shit, I was 190.6 and now I'm 191. What the hell is happening? My cut isn't working. In fact, I'm getting fatter. What the fuck is happening? You start freaking out, you start panicking, you start starving yourself, you start doing a lot of cardio. I don't know what this is, skiing. You start freaking out when in reality, you're actually not doing that bad because your actual week 1 average weigh-in was 192 and you are down a pound. You just don't know it because you don't have enough data. You are doing random shit all over the place. I knew that this was kind of cool and it's like, hey, I lost a couple pounds from the, a few days prior, but it's not indicative of my true body weight. It's just random fluctuation. This is critical that you guys do this so that you don't freak out in case you have a high day, a low day, a whatever day, because again, your body weight's going to be all over the place. I know I've been talking about this concept a lot recently and I'm probably just beating it into the ground. It's like I'm kicking a dead horse for some of you guys, but I still see a lot of people not doing this, and it messes you up. In fact, it just messes you up psychologically because you think, oh shit, it's not working, when in reality, maybe it is. You just don't know. As you can see, I'm very pumped up about this stuff. The magic of numbers and Excel and freaking bar charts and yeah, baby. Either way, guys, that is week 1. So far, I think we are off to a good start. The physique, again, is leaner than it ever has been in the past at the beginning of my competition preps. And the weight so far is, actually, it's kind of hard to tell. Because, again, we're only 1 week in, and I need at least 14 days to compare. Because I compare week 2 to week 1, week 3 to week 2, week 4 to 5. You get the picture. See you next week.